Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Dana Alexa, filling in for Kara McKinney. They break in your house, stay for a little while, change the locks, move in some furniture, have mail sent to the address, and there you have it. You've officially become a landlord. We're talking about the practice of squatting. Squatters' rights is actually something we adopted from England. These laws were originally established because it was almost impossible to keep track of who owned what at a time where records were solely kept on paper. It was set up to avoid wasted space and wars, but it's no longer the 1800s. So this medieval practice has got to go, especially now. It has been misused and abused. There are people in this world intentionally doing a little house hunting, seeking out rental property nearby, and before you know it, you become their next victim. You no longer are in charge of the very home that you have saved up and purchased. And somehow this is legal. Tonight, we're going to cover some of the most egregious squatting offenses in America today. Exhibit A, Bellevue, Washington. Residents are publicly shaming serial squatter Singh Kim for squatting in a $2 million home despite allegedly making $400,000 a year. According to the landlord, Jaskaran Singh, he's unable to get Kim out of his home, who owes them $80,000 in unpaid rent. So Singh Kim is living for free. Luckily for you, we have the tape. Roll it.
Get out. It's my house.
Just pay the rent to the guy.
I am going to, and he doesn't understand this, system here in state.
Get out, comment! Get out, comment!
How's the Korean community interpreting what's happening here?
They are not aware of this. They're usually a landlord or hardworking business people. They would never imagine a Korean descendant taking advantage of this poor, broken system like this and embarrass not only his family, but entire community. So I was chanting, if you're not going to pay, you shouldn't stay there. And I also called them out as a con man. Sagikun. Sagikun means con man in Korean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide high-resolution picture of them and ask all the Korean medias to post this on their newsletter and online website and actually have him get famous. Every restaurant he goes, every Korean restaurant he goes, every Korean market he goes, so everybody recognizes him. That way, he's not only just embarrassed to move out of the place, but move out of the state once and for all.
I love it. I love watching the grassroots effort take place. So this apparently isn't the first time Singh Kim has done something like this. In fact, he's a repeat offender. He keeps doing this because he keeps getting away with it. He knows the laws just as well as the attorneys who are working the cases. But back to Mr. Kim. The landlord has done his own digging. He's even said Mr. Kim lives a lavish life, doing barbecues, buying new cars, living in the best neighborhood and sending his kids to the best schools. Then there's Singh, who's there to just foot the bill. Singh has a mortgage to pay. He has a family to feed, kids to send to college. Not to mention, Bellevue is among the most expensive cities to live in the United States. The cost of living is nearly 60% higher than the U.S. average. Thanks, progressives. So that's one episode of squatting abuse, but this next example is going to send you, and I'm certain of it. Let's go to New York City. This is Yerbin Benjamin Lozada Munoz. He's a squatter. He's also a suspected gang member from Venezuela. Yeah, he has charges of attempted murder on his record. This gang member / squatter illegally crossed over through Eagle Pass, Texas, and made his way to the Bronx. Him and 7 others took shelter in a man's basement. They never had keys to the home, of course. They just busted right in. ICE eventually detained the squatter. In the man's basement, they found 4 guns, magazines, ammunition, drugs. It could be anybody. A lazy sack of you-know-what, or an illegal invader. So will the madness stop? That is strictly up to our lawmakers. Joining us now to discuss is the landlord I mentioned at the top of this monologue, Jaskaran Singh. Mr. Singh, welcome on tonight.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being with us. You're the landlord in this clip. I've been following your story for quite some time. You've been dealt a few blows, but take me to the very beginning. How did Kim seek out your home?
So, his background was cleared by the county. There was no background where he shows the eviction. And basically, there's a housing justice project in our state which provides a free lawyer to the tenants. And it's a free service. They know the system. He knows the system. he is basically exploiting the system. So he paid first month and last month's rent, and after that he stopped paying.
Okay. Okay. So you
Then
were renting out your home, right? This guy just didn't come from anywhere. You decided to rent him out. He was initially paying you month's rent, couple months rent, and then all of a sudden he stopped to then
yes,
commit the crime of squatting, abusing it,
yes.
as I mentioned. So what happened in those early moments when you found out he stopped paying you? I imagine you called the Bellevue police, and then what did they do?
I hired a lawyer at that very time, and it
Okay.
was I've been struggling with that. I went to all the lawmakers. I sent an email to everyone that this is not of justice to me. This is not my American dream, and this injustice should be stopped. But I was not getting any response. Then I sent an email that I'm going to protest. That's my freedom of speech.
Of
And
course.
the whole neighborhood stood with me, and we did a protest. And after that, they start negotiating, but there's laws need to be fixed, and we need better laws in this state.
Oh, there's no question about it. I saw a couple of videos of that. I saw Korean Americans stand beside you in this fight to get Kim out of your home. What's it like having the entire community in your neighborhood, Korean Americans, every single one of them, come to your side in this? Because your case, Mr. Singh, is making national headlines. There's a man living inside your home who, by the way, allegedly makes $400,000 a year, does pretty well for himself, knows right from wrong, you'd think, right? And he's almost getting away with this. So what's it like to have all these people band together by your side in protest of this?
It's very emotional, and it looks very strange that why the system is protecting the criminal. I am the taxpayer, and they're
Right.
using my taxpayer money against me to fight. The lawyer is paid through my taxpayer money, and his rent is paid by taxpayer, and he's living for free.
Talk about that for a minute. You said his rent is paid by taxpayers. Is this the
Yes.
nonprofit that's been funneling money into the pockets of Kim so he's able to stay in your home? Well, what's going on? How is this possible?
So they paid his. They have spent. I haven't received a check yet, but they are paying his 50,000 back rent. But
This
that's coming from the
nonprofit, what's their
nonprofit.
MO? What do they want? Are they a pro-squatter NGO?
They don't want eviction. That's the only purpose, to
Okay.
delay the eviction. It doesn't matter how much I spend on the lawyer, what's mental torture he's giving to me, what's the effect on my family, what
see.
effect to my investment. It doesn't care. They just want
So
to stop the
it's
eviction.
an anti-homeowners group, if you will, a nonprofit that you said is only
Yes.
able to really exist because it's coming from taxpayer money. So the taxpayers right now are making the situation happen for you, worse for you. Singh, you have a family to feed, kids to send to college. I'm sure you got bills down the wazoo. How is this? How are you able to afford your life right now while essentially paying for somebody in your home? We know the interest rates, the mortgage is probably outstanding.
I borrowed money. I worked twice, 2 jobs, and it's not only me. Many more landlords in Washington are suffering because of this.
Okay.
We are sided. We are the 32 strong. There's 32 lawyers who are well funded with the taxpayers' money, and their only purpose is to delay the eviction. And the squatters in this state are using this loophole.